to gravity high. Talking tech as the planets fly. The upgrade zone, the show begins. Sit right back and let the future spin.
All right, I think we need to do like a proper introduction at this point.
Yeah,
because we've already like,
you know, podcast. There's going to be some good editing skills, people.
Oh yeah. All right then. So, Sam, I'm so happy to have you on the show. So welcome. And for anybody listening, let's just do a quick round of introduction.
Mm-hmm.
Just tell us who you are. Where you come from, what your business is. Let's start with this one, and then we'll edit the rest.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. So obviously, my name is Sam Meese. Come from a town called Kidderminster, just south of Birmingham. And what I do is I am a full-time property deal sourcer. So
Nice.
in a snapshot, that's the word I'm looking for. I connect investors and landlords and vendors together who are looking for property opportunities, negotiate deals on a win-win basis for both parties, and then I take a fee for said service.
Nice. Very clearly explained. That's
Practice.
yeah. Your 1 minute pitch.
yeah, 60 seconds, 60, 30, 20, like you name it, we've got to get it in there.
Nice one. I assume that you are a member of many communities, etc. So you've had a chance to go over the, sort of practice the muscle of introducing yourself.
Yeah, I'm definitely a serial networker, and we'll get into kind of backstories, I'm sure, and where I've come from and how I've built myself as a person.
Of course.
But yeah, to answer your question about networks, communities, I'm part of Samuel Leeds Academy, so big in the property space, training academy. Like there's do a whole episode breaking down this and what it offers. But part of Samuel, I am a member of BNI Enigma in Solihull, up the Enigma. So yeah, part of my chapter there, and then various other networks. We obviously met at Nick James Marketing.
That's right.
Mastermind Expo, whatever the name was on it, and we connected there. So on his program as well about the marketing side of things, and just always looking at self-development, improvement. How can I improve as a person? How can I improve as a businessman, as a father, an athlete? Again, I have an addiction to self-development. I've done it it's the martial artist in me from childhood. So yeah, that's going back to what we spoke about earlier, which is going to come later. That nostalgia.
Yeah. Okay. And if you were to define yourself, who do you see yourself as? Like number one, I am a dad, I am a family guy, or am I an entrepreneur first? Who, I know it's not an easy question, so give it a second, but I love to ask this question.
I don't think I'm gonna be awkward here. There's not one I would put. So the way I've actually got an analogy for this. So did you ever play the game RuneScape?
Of course.
You played the game RuneScape.
Yeah,
so you remember kind of that RPG style game where you'd work on your melee combat, you'd work on your wood cutting, you'd work on your fishing and skills.
Yeah.
I've always been like this as a person. Okay. So I don't just specialize in one thing. I like to improve and work on everything, and I'll spend some time focusing on one area, get that better, and then I will reflect on the wins, the lessons, and then go from there.
So you proactively monitor where you might be falling short and
where I can get better. So at the minute, business is the top of my list. Obviously set the company up a year ago tomorrow. So 11th of March 2025, in the phase of learning and building and growing. And
this is such a great timing as well. So
I know it's literally 1 year anniversary tomorrow. So it's been a crazy year, to be fair, but
we'll get to that. Okay, so what we know so far is that you are a dad, you are a businessman, and you've been doing it for a year. So how did you end up there, with the business thing? What awakened that muscle in you, the delusion of being, I'm going to be successful no matter what?
I think the first thing I want to say is the company was set up a year ago, but this has been a lot longer. So we're going to go back to that analogy of RPG video games. I've been shaping and building my character since the dawn of time, since the dawn of me. And I always think, like I said, about building and addicted to self-development. So it's not like I woke up one day, I was like, I need to do this. That's not it at all. So I think I need to go back in order to kind of level this up.
Go for it.
So I grew up doing martial arts. So Taekwondo was my bread and butter. So I did that from the age of 4, 5. It's actually a funny story when I started on that. We can talk on that if we need to. Let's say 5. So I started at 5. My dad took me. We started growing, and I went up to 5th degree black belt. Used to teach full time all the way in martial arts, and I did loads of others as well. Kickboxing, did bits of Thai boxing, MMA, jiu-jitsu, loads of other Krav, all sorts of weird and wonderful jazz.
Yep.
But Taekwondo was the foundation of me. And I think I learned so much from it. Taekwondo is a military martial art, so it comes from Korea. So there's a lot of respect within it. It's got 5 strong core values, and that kind of shaped and molded me as a person. But I think the one thing I want to pull away from is you're always looking what your next belt is. So when you start, you obviously start as a white belt. You train for 3 months, you grade for your yellow stripe, and then you train another 3 months, you grade for your yellow belt, and you do that up until you get to blue stripe, blue belt level. I can't even remember now, it's been so long. And then you hit a point, and then it's every 6 months because the gradings get harder. So you've got more content to learn. So every 6 months, you then grade until you get to your black stripe, and then you wait to do your black belt. And then every black belt you get, the time frame increases. So from the age of 5 until I left in my early 20s, so the best part of 2 decades, there's always grading for the next step. So this kind of is where I believe my addiction to self-development comes from, because it was such a core part of me as a kid. It was always that next step, what's next. So yeah, anyway, did that as a kid through teenage years. Went to college, so did school, did a year of sixth form. Waste of time, shouldn't have done that. Wasn't me as a person, but then I did that, went to college and qualified as a personal trainer.
Okay.
That's also a funny story because I didn't plan to do that. That happened by chance. That was an opportunity that at this point I was a teenager. I didn't know what I wanted to do, had no real direction, going through the fun of being a teenager and kind of what happens as you grow up. So I did a little bit of gym training, and they were like, "Oh, you like the gym? What about personal training?" I'm like, "Why not? Let's have a look at it." And I went and had a chat with the head of the course. Her name was Sarah. And obviously said about what's what, and she's like, "Yeah, so this is told me about it." And I was like, "Yeah, cool, sounds like a bit of me." So I did my personal training qualification in Halzone College, that was great. It was one of my best teenage years. I really enjoyed that. It's just nothing mattered. Going to college with the mates, studying a course I enjoyed. It was a bit of me, that was, and I aced it. I did really well at it. And then post qualification, it's like, right, now what? Not realizing that you've got a set up as a self-employed personal trainer, because they didn't teach you about the business side.
I see.
They just kind of taught you anatomy, coaching, and bits. And I always use this analogy that my dad always said to me about driving. So first you learn to pass your test, then you learn to drive a ar. Because that's how it works.
That's so accurate.
It's exactly the same as being a PT. So they will literally just give that qualification away. There is no skill or anything required to become a personal trainer. So if you just get your level 3 qualification as a personal trainer and you never do any CPD afterwards,
let me guess, it's all about just memorizing things, passing the exam, and that's it.
That's it. No one teaches you how to coach. Like, you do bits and pieces, but no one teaches you about people, which again we're gonna get to. So did that qualification, and then go and set up. So that's my first kind of business, if you can call it that. You can call it a business, but you know what I mean. So sole trader, 18-year-old kid. Right, how do I do this? Open and honest, like up here, I wasn't mentally ready for it. So didn't do massively well, not going to lie, but that was no fault of my ability or anything. It was here. But again, this is the kind of evolution of me. So did that in a couple of gyms, never really took off. At this point, I'm teaching part-time martial arts at my martial arts school. And then it's kind of like, this is the portion of my life when I'm a teenager and you do just a few dribs and drabs jobs. So nothing I've never been able to do something I'm not passionate about or I don't enjoy.
I see. I can understand that.
Yeah, you know, some people are like, I've been at my job for 40, 50 years and I hate it. I can't. My limit is 3 months. I don't know why. There's probably some psychological reason for it. But if I get to 3 months and I'm not enjoying it, got to pull the plug. I cannot stay. And this is one thing my dad taught me, because my dad, he's a postman and he has been forever, and he hates it. It's what he's done. And there's a whole story on him and why he chose that route. And I got a lot of respect for him for choosing that route, because it was for me and my brother at the time. Because he could have gone down the route of business in what he was doing.
There is also like a mental difference between generations. So there's an element of that.
Yeah. So he always ingrained in me, this is one of my core memories from being very little, is I want you to do a job that you're happy doing. So I think that bleeds into the,
got it.
If I'm not happy, I can't stomach it. I wouldn't be a nice person to be around for my kids, for my family, because I'm not happy.
But that's why you see so many people just grumpy all the time, because they are just pushing through. They are surviving.
This goes back to self-awareness, to be aware of what it is. But anyway, so I did a few of them, and then I was presented the opportunity to go and work at my martial arts school full-time. So as an apprentice, on an apprenticeship wage, doing social media marketing. So that was kind of my foot in the door. And I tell you this is kind of where my work ethic comes from. So I did that I was 19.
Yes.
Apprenticeship wage at the time was something like £3.90 an hour.
Wow.
Absolute garbage. I got paid £350 a month to go and do this apprenticeship. And I was teaching martial arts, doing social media, doing this. I was there.
So you really need to love what you do.
I'm going to get to this. So 7 days a week. And at that point, it was my dream. And I always said, if you didn't need money, would you do what you do now? Which is and not many of us would, realistically, because life would change, because you do leisure activities, wouldn't you?
Of course.
But with teaching martial arts and coaching and building that way, I loved it. I really did. And I still, like, coaching is a massive passion of mine. I really enjoy that, hence the personal trainer, hence the coaching, hence all the other stuff we're going to get to.
But did you anticipate that you're going to love it so much, or did it come later? Did it become apparent later that you're enjoying it so much?
I've always gone after what I enjoyed. So I'm a real sucker for turning a hobby into a career, which is a good thing, but everything kind of runs its course. And again, it ran its course, really. So did that, did the business, and obviously when I was in the martial arts school, I set up the personal training within there, which was good for me at the time. Got into a bit of a sticky situation, which is kind of why it all crashed and burned. But I don't want to give it too much airtime, because I don't want to name any names. Yeah. But yeah, so that it ran its course. It got to a point where it was like, this isn't it anymore. I'd hit the max I could do. And to be fair, I did 4 years there as a full-time employee, doing the PT and building that up. And this isn't a regret, but one thing I look back on is there was a point when I was doing so well at the personal training, I could have gone full-time PT, but I never took that leap. And again, mentality, betting on myself sort of thing. It's kind of that box you're crammed into to have a stable career with a wage.
It used to be a thing, right?
It's massive, and we're conditioned to do that as well. But I never took that leap, and I could have, should have, but I don't regret it, because it helped me get to where I am now.
Sure.
But anyway, that ran its course, and then I moved to PureGym in management. So I went over there as an assistant gym manager, and PureGym, just to shout out, great company, run really well. If you like business, the growth plans, everything on there is solid. They're really about the people. They bring it. If I was happy to work a job and the inner entrepreneur wasn't there, I could happily do that.
Wow.
Because it's a great company, really
That's
good to
a big
work
thing
for.
to say. So yeah,
I firmly believe that, and it was for me. But was assistant manager, moved up to gym manager, moved up to cluster manager, and I was there for, was it November 2021? And I left back end of last year to go full-time in the business. So again, just over 4 years. There's a bit of a cycle here. Things I don't enjoy, I do for 3 months.
I was going to say,
I get 4 years out of. But again, that I got to a point where we had this conversation with my line manager at the time. I've always been the self-development, addicted to it, wanting to get better. Where can I go next? And I started to feel like I was climbing the ladder, but I was like, am I climbing the wrong ladder? Because I can progress here. I know I could easily. Like the work ethic, the drive, the mentality that I have built and grown, I can outwork anyone that I need to. But I was getting to a point where I'm not. This isn't doing it for me anymore.
Yeah.
You know, I've got to cluster area manager level. Next is regional. I'm like, I don't want that. And we got to PureGym, didn't we? So worked my way up through there, and then as part of our role in management at PureGym, we were business coaches to the personal trainers, which was my favourite part of the role.
Yep.
It really was. And also, like I said, everyone's on development. So my role as a cluster manager was to develop my GMs to become CMs. It was to develop my AGMs to become GMs, and then like there was so many
GMs as in gym
manager.
managers.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, so you've got AGM, which is assistant gym manager. GM, which is gym manager. CM is cluster manager. RM is regional manager. Yeah, just abbreviations. So everyone's pulling each other up. So again, that links back into my training, my coaching, my development. So it's just, I just want to help people win and get better. So if I can give one bit of value or knowledge that helps them grow, that's a bit of me, that is. So that's your kind of journey of me. So when you say about what made me take the leap to start my business, it wasn't a leap to start at, like January 2025. It all needs to change.
New year, new me.
No, none of that. I've been constantly building and developing myself as an individual since forever, that it was just a new venture. So like I said to you earlier, that reflection and self-awareness and learning, when I come to the end of a year, back end of the year, I start reflecting on, what did I set at the start of the year? Was I focusing on being a dad? Was I focusing on my health and my fitness?
Yep.
Was I focusing on business? What area was I looking at? So I got towards the back end of 2024. And when I was looking back, obviously my second daughter was born October 2024. So it was kind of, right, being a dad had been a focus, and it still was a focus. But what I hadn't done for a few years was focus on business and finances and getting better. I'd been very focused on my career, and I'd worked my way up to cluster manager level. And like I said, I was starting to feel, am I climbing the wrong ladder? Is this actually what I want to do? One thing I've not touched on is I got into the stock market during COVID. So when we were all locked down in 2020, I was like, right, let's do stock market. So opened that in January 2021. For Christmas, I had a load of books, start listening to podcasts, start following social media. And what I try and do when I set myself on an adventure, I try and surround myself in that environment. So it was like, right, how can I get all of this information? And then with COVID and lockdowns, obviously being furloughed, technically we were teaching online to a camera. That was weird. But again, that had massive impacts on me going forwards as well. So yeah, I did stocks, and in 2024, to jump back forward, I hadn't done anything in that realm for a while.
I see.
I was like, right, what can I do to progress myself, like business wise? I'm not fully happy in my career anymore. This has been decent for now, but not life changing. I built up a nice little portfolio, but I can't live off this. I can't take it. It's only so much in there. Where do I go? And I'd always liked the idea of property, always. But I had the mindset for so long that you need money to get into property. So I'd always said, when I've got money, I'll learn about it. When I've got money, I'll learn about it. And I had this thing, and I got to the end of 2024. I was like, you know what? Now I'm going to change the narrative next year. I'm going to go and learn about property.
Yep.
And I'm going to see what opportunities come about. So I went on did exactly the same I did with the stock market. I ordered a load of books. I started listening to property podcasts. I'm stuck in the stock market right now. Property podcasts. I started following people on social media and just kind of immersing myself in that environment. And it just built from there. I started with, I knew what a buy-to-let was, and, very, very like basic bits and pieces, but I just kind of built and scaled, and I discovered Samuel. It's a funny story, actually. I discovered him by accident. So it's about February time, right? 2025. And I'm doing all my, I'm reading my books, listening to podcasts, and I'm in the bath one night, and I'm on ChatGPT, because we love ChatGPT. We love AI.
Oh, yes.
And I asked it a question. Like, I can't remember what the question was. It was something like, what is a BRR? Which is obviously buy, refurbish, refinance.
Yep.
I literally asked it something as basic as that. And it spat out an answer to me. And it spat out these 2 YouTube videos, right? And the first video I clicked on, right, about 90 seconds long. I don't know who it was. I don't know what they said. But all I know, it was one of the most boring fucking things I've ever listened to in my life. It was dreadful. I was sat there like, I'd rather drop my phone in the bath. Than
It
watch
doesn't
that.
really sell it, does it?
It was awful. And the second video was Samuel.
Okay.
Right? We've obviously mentioned Samuel Leeds. And I almost didn't watch it. I didn't know who he was.
Okay.
I'd never heard of him, never seen him. Obviously, property was a new thing for me, so I'd not been in that environment. So my algorithm had never spat it out. And just on the off chance, I clicked it to watch it. And I don't know how well you know Samuel and his content. Obviously, he's
I've seen his content,
Cool.
but
So-
I don't know him.
Yeah, you've seen his content. So he's obviously very passionate. Very passionate
True.
individual.
True.
Quite similar to me in a sense when I get going. Very passionate. Believes in what he believes in. Very strong morals and values. And I'm watching this video. I was like, who is this geezer shouting at me on YouTube? Because I like you. And
I can see why you would sort of vibe with that
I was
personality.
Like, I know some people don't. And that's, we go back to that thing of James Smith earlier. You'd rather find the people who you actually resonate with and cut the people out who don't.
Yep.
Because it's not worth the time and energy.
Exactly.
So it resonated with me. I was like, I like this guy's fire in his belly. He's got something. So I then obviously followed him on every social platform. And as you do when you start to condition your social media, your algorithm changes.
Yep.
And then my algorithm became property and all these ads for these bits and pieces. I was like, right, I'm learning. I did some online bits and stuff. I was like, I need to get out there and do more. And Samuel's crash course at the time popped up on my, it was all over my Instagram. It was like £1 crash course, £1 crash course. I was like, it's £1. You know what I mean? So I booked onto the rent to rent crash
That's
course.
the live event, isn't it?
Yeah. So they've changed the structure now within the business, but I was in the old kind of structure.
Okay.
So it was a £1 crash course, rent to rent in Birmingham. And it was actually on my birthday weekend in 2025. So I spent my birthday weekend in a room full of like 200-300 like-minded people looking
The
at
sacrifices we have to.
but I wouldn't call it a sacrifice because I like that. You know, I don't.
But it's out of a box.
It's that's me as a person. I'm out of the box. I don't drink anymore. I'm coming up to 3 years of not drinking in July, so we're not too far away. Because I don't value it. It doesn't fit in my beliefs. I want to get better and improve. And how can I do that?
And it gets in the way, doesn't it?
It's the marginal gains when you get to certain levels of how can I get better. So I'm not into any of that. So I went to the crash course and I loved it. Again, like Samuel's energy, his passion, what he stands for, what he believes in. He just wants people to genuinely succeed. And the structure is like the more you succeed, the more he succeeds. And again, it's just that kind of everybody pulls everybody up environment. So I did the crash course, and obviously there was an advanced program, which was, so, you know, you go down the sales funnel, don't you? So I was like, yeah, that's a bit of me. Let's do the advanced program, which is 4 days down in Heathrow. And it was rent to rent, serviced accommodation and HMOs and all how that works. So I went to the 4-day course, and that was when it really changed for me, because you're just in that environment. And I'm going to talk about environment a lot, and I'm going to take a little side tangent here, but environment is so powerful.
Oh, yes.
And I knew it was powerful from who I was a person and what I'd heard people speak about. And, you know, when you hear enough people that you look up to speak in a certain manner about certain things, like all successful people say the same things in different words.
Oh, 100%.
And the more you hear it, you're like, maybe they're onto something here, because they kind of know what they're talking about.
Yep.
So
because why would so many people say the same or similar thing?
Massive.
That's another, you know.
Yeah, 100%. So environment, I always knew the power, but I'd never been in the right environment because I'm from, you know, small working class town. I had never met anybody with my mindset until I went to this event.
Yep.
And I'd been surrounded by people who are in the box and want you to fit in the box, which always held me back in a sense, because it affected my mentality, which meant I held myself back, because obviously I'm accountable. Like, I decide what I do. I'm responsible for all of my decisions.
Yep.
So I hadn't gone, but that environment impacted me. When I was in that environment full of those people for 4 days, I'm talking, I was up at, 6 o'clock in the morning. I was going to bed at 11 o'clock at night, and I was just buzzing constantly. And at that program, I decided to join the full academy, which is, you get all the events, all the mentoring, all the port you get. There's so much. And again, I said we could do a whole episode on breaking down that. And that's where it really started, because I'm like, just surround yourself in the environment, be around the people. And it's madness now. As I said to you the other day, I've got 17 networking events booked this month, which is the most I've done in a month. And then it's kind of like, right, where's my sweet spot of balance?
Let me just make a small highlight here.
Go on.
This month, guys. This month.
Yeah, March. Month of March. So, and there will be a balance. There will be a point of like, right, you're doing too many to not actually work on what's important when you're a startup company. So it's finding that sweet spot of how many can I do to create opportunities and meet people and build the connections? But how many is too many? Because there's always too many.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you
And
how
I
many.
thought I was doing a lot when I was doing like 5, 6 a month.
Yeah, but I've built to that point. I've not just woke up one day and I'm doing 17 this month. Like, it's scaled, and this is the biggest month. So I will collect the data.
Yep.
I will analyze the data, and I will go, right, was that enough? Was it too many? What was the kind of where's the creme de la creme? Where's the sweet spot? So yeah, just immerse myself in the environment, and then it just built from there. So the business started, and started from the beginning with just getting knowledge, and then it was like, right, now I need to take action, because as Nick would say, information without implementation is worthless. So you've got to implement that. So you've got to take action. You've got to learn. You've got to make your mistakes along the way. You've got to grow. You've got to keep networking and learn from other people.
Yep.
And it's just it's just built from there, really. And I set myself the goal at the start of 2025. My goal for property was, I simply want to know what a good opportunity looks like. I didn't want to take one. I didn't want to do anything. That was my goal. And I massively blew through that, from being in that environment and being surrounded by it and everything that I learned. And to the
you
point
have to be a sponge, right? You just soak it all in from all those other people.
Absorb, and then because I've got this foundation of, I've been a personal trainer, and I understood kind of the aspect of starting and building the relationships. I've been a coach. I've done all of these bits and pieces. And from that background, I realized, so my business originally was a rent-to-rent business. That's what I was going to do. Take on properties, serviced accommodation, HMOs, social housing, kind of run them, cash flow, build and grow, and scale out our work from there. And what I realized is, me as a person, I much prefer the people element from being a coach. So I knew what deal sourcing was from the academy. I never went in with that intention. It was always kind of a side thing. Like, I might take on X amount of rent-to-rents, have opportunities come my way, not want them, and I can package them and sell them to an investor. But what I did was flip the script towards the back end of the year. I was like, right, I'm not happy in the career anymore. This isn't it for me. This is what I want to do. How do I put myself in a position where I can do this and go after it? Because I was like,
got it.
I need to bet on myself and take the calculated risk to go full time, because I know with my work ethic, the environment, everything I do, if I can put 110% into this, which I've never done before, because I've always had that safety net. If I can get rid of the safety net, I can go after what I want. So I structured it in a way within PureGym where I could. So they offer a sabbatical period, PureGym do. So you can apply for up to 3 months off. You have to give 3 months notice, and then you can, go and travel. You can do that. You do what you want with your time.
Yep.
And it's funny, I was having this internal battle towards the back end of 2025 when I was doing the property and family and training and like you can't do it all. I did hit a bit of burnout, and that's where I went back into therapy as well. But I wasn't working, I was training. I was like, I've been thinking about, do I have a notice in? Do I just go? Do I pull the plug? I knew where I was financially. I knew what little pot I had, and I knew what time that bought me to be able to go after it. And I was there one day, and I think I was doing squats at the time. And it was in between my sets, and I thought, wait a minute, they do a sabbatical period. So I pulled up my phone, and I went on the portal, and I pulled up the policy, and I had a little look about it. I was like, that could work, actually, because that gives me 3 months of time to go after what I want. And if it doesn't go the way I planned, there's my job for me at the end.
Exactly.
There's no, as brutal as it sounds, I can't remember who says this quote, but it's not hard to be average. Really not. There's no effort to be average.
And let's be honest, most of traditionally understood jobs actually encourage, being like doing the bare minimum, right?
Just be average.
They encourage you. You just have to hit your metrics. That's it. You don't have to go
be
beyond.
average. That's what they want. So as long as you just follow along, I'm not about being average. I never have been. So I structured it where I could take 3 months off. So I'd organised it. Had my meeting with my manager. Went through everything. It was approved. 3 month notice period. So it was actually approved in September for the 1st of Jan. So it was a little over 3 months. And I knew what was coming. So I was like, okay, cool. Here's what you put away to add to that cash pot. Here's what I need to do in the business, because I need to prioritise the time that I've got and actually use it effectively. So mine was prioritising investor relationships and going out and networking and finding people that wanted to invest, and how could I help them, and built from there.
That's where a lot of magic happens. So
why do you think I do so much networking?
Yeah.
But we got to the back end of the year when I'd done it all, and like 31st, I think I had a week off for Christmas. So I worked up until whatever week Christmas was. So the Friday, and I'd have finished, I think it was the 19th. Finished on Friday the 19th. If I'm wrong, don't shoot me. Friday the 19th, finished, and then it was a week off, and then I was back in 29, 30, 31 of December, and then 1st of Jan, it was full time.
Got it.
And that was when the wheels off, and that's where the magic started to happen. So to link back to that original question, it was never, oh, you've only been doing this a year. How did that happen? It's no, this has built over time. This might have been the switch over of where it is, but all that self-development from being a PT, from being a martial artist, from being a coach to doing this, to these experiences, that was my opportunity to go after what I wanted. And again, I love the quote, it takes 20 years to become an overnight success.
Yes.
And don't get me wrong.
This is so true.
I wouldn't sit here and say I'm a success. Success is very subjective, so to the individual. So from where I'm at this point, it's been successful. But for where I want to be, I've still got places to go, and I still need to continue to scale and build. And that's the kind of period I'm in now. Like we were chatting downstairs of...
Just a very quick point on what you've just said, because I think it's going to be valuable to the guys out there. And I caught myself doing that. Do you find yourself in a situation sometimes where you're kind of rushing things, you're trying to do as much as you possibly can because there's still hours in a day, etc., etc., and then you're not being very kind to yourself because you feel like you still can do more? And do you sort of, pull back a second and just say like, hold on a second, let's just be patient with ourselves here because we're doing a lot. Let's just, have an open, objective view of where we are. Do you ever find yourself in those situations? I do. And it's hard. It's so hard for me. Like, I've just got to, realize that it's not going to happen next week. It's just going to take a month, 2 months, half a year or a year, but it will get there eventually.
Yeah, I think the first thing I'd say to this, it's probably the most crucial part, it is very easy to be a busy fool. Because you're busy. Like, busyness is not business. There's a quote I heard the other day, busyness is not business. And again, I've done this in the past. I'm like, yeah, I'm so busy, I've had a mad day. But what have you done to move the needle? What have you actually done that's productive? So what I do now, and again, this comes to being self-aware and from years of experience and learning and growing as a person, I have 4 mantras within my business. And again, we spoke about this the other day. Mantras, values, call them what you want. I call them mantras. And they are designed as kind of the framework of how I try to operate. So those are, number 1 is done is the new perfect. And again, this is massive to me because analysis paralysis has been something I dealt with for years and years and years. And, you want to get everything perfect and you want to get it right. So you then don't take that action. Yeah. And then suddenly,
done that.
Then suddenly you've got the information without the implementation, which is worthless. So done is the new perfect is massive. Get it done, get it out there, make the mistakes, see what works, get the data, learn, improve, grow. That's number 1. Number 2, this is going to link back to your question, is do what makes money first. So in business, cash flow is king. Absolutely. You've got no cash flow, you're fucked, realistically.
Absolutely.
So when I'm planning what I'm doing, because I am a one-man band at the minute and I have visions to scale and grow and take people on and build this as an actual business. But where I am in the journey now is it's me, myself, and I do everything to get to that point because you've got to serve the customers and the clients to generate the cash flow. So it's all about, building the relationships and growing from there. So what on my to-do list will make me money first? So literally I look at it day by day, week by week. I use my CRM system, which I'm sure we'll get onto with the tech side of things.
Oh, yes.
You've obviously got all the to-do list and it's right. What's going to generate cash flow? So investors, deals, pipelines, etc.
Sure.
Where am I with those? That goes to the top of the list. Is anybody on a bespoke? Okay, cool. You are number 1 priority at the minute. Let's get this booked in to get you sorted. You got general investors list. Who's looking for what? What are they after? Okay, cool. Fill the pipeline, get it out.
Yep.
Are there any live deals, that are in that I haven't got an investor for, but there's a deal that's live? Okay, cool. This goes out to the list, conversations. Is there anyone it's suitable for? Because one thing I'm very passionate about with anyone who knows deal sourcing and what it is, there are so many sharks out there and people that are like, just got to get the money, got to get the money, got to get the... I'm not like that. What I want is I want the right investor in the right place because I want, again, that win-win mentality. I want you to succeed because if you succeed, it's good for me because you're going to become a raving fan of me, which means you're going to promote my business and give me referrals, which is the best type of marketing.
Absolutely.
And you're going to come back for repeat business because if I can give you a deal for a fee that's going to generate you cash flow and build your wealth and help you scale and build your business, why wouldn't you buy more deals from me? and then refer me to your friends who are going to buy it. And it builds, and that's how it builds and grows. So do what makes money first. There's feel the fear and do it anyway. Because the things that scare the shit out of you are the things you need to be doing.
Oh my God, this is so true.
Just be nice. Just be kind, people. Treat people how you want to be treated. And then going back to the link, the fourth one in business is work so hard it would be unreasonable for you to be unsuccessful. And I know you know that quote because it's from the man who wrote the book.
Exactly, I was going to say.
But that just speaks to me. And I only found Hormozy very recently.
Mm-hmm.
But it just speaks to me on a different level because I go back to that story of working an apprenticeship for £350 a month, doing 7 days a week because we taught like Saturday, Sunday mornings, and then it was like antisocial hours, and I was a PT in between. So I've done all that and loved it and enjoyed it. So that's kind of conditioned my work ethic and doing martial arts and always grading for the next belt. It's always how much effort can I put in, and then that linked into PureGym as well because when you're going for your KPIs and what you're doing. Within PureGym, the outputs don't matter, the inputs matter. As long as you put the inputs in and you can showcase that the inputs are there. Obviously, the outputs do matter because you've got to generate a business in this. But if we can understand why the inputs didn't work, it's just data. Collect the data and improve. So my work ethic is built from there. So it's not difficult for me. Like I don't find it a challenge.
I see.
To get up and graft.
Because your mindset didn't have to shift so much that you're changing who you are, basically. No. So that's a good thing, and there is a very clear correlation. So for anybody struggling to wrap their mind around that, I would really just say, like, just do an audit of where you are, and just realize, is there a muscle that you can work on to help you get to that sort of space?
So those are my 4 mantras, and as long as I can follow those within the business, I know I'm doing the things that move the needle towards success. And it is a challenge because I can't do everything all the time, and if you're gonna start up a business or a company, you have to accept that. And obviously every business is different in how you structure it, and you're going to start with different amounts of capital and where you want to take it and grow. So how big is your team, what you're doing,
of course.
But it's very crucial to have that blueprint and that formula to be able to build from. And one thing I now need to incorporate is I've got the vision of where I want to go and where I want to take it and how I want to take my life. But now I need to incorporate the plan. And this is kind of my next stage of how do I get there? So it's something I've started to think about more recently. So I've got the framework that I'm building, and obviously cash flow is king and we need to get more cash flow in. So I've sold some deals which have been successful. We've had some fall through because that's the nature of the beast, but we offer a 14-day money back guarantee pretty much on anything that we do. So investors know they're looked after, and credibility and trust. And we've got things in the pipeline. So things are moving, but I think it's very important you got to have that belief. You got to bet on yourself to scale and build the business and know your risk management as well. Like what's your risk tolerance with it? What are you capable of dealing with? One thing that my little one will say to me sometimes, she'll be like, I can't do it. I'm like, I know you can't do it. You've never tried.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I can't. Again, that analogy, everyone uses it, riding a bike. When you first sit on a bike, you can't ride a bike. You have to learn to ride a bike. So I need that. And as we grow up as an adult, we suddenly lose that because that fear of failure and that you've got to fit in the box mentality.
Yeah.
Because, you failed, you lost. Because they condition it in you. Like school, don't get things wrong. No, that's silly. And everyone laughs because they don't want you to think outside the box and ask the questions and do.
And it stays with you for the entire life.
It does, massive.
It's just,
but failure is, it's information, it's knowledge, it's how you have to fail. You have to get up, you have to do, and you have to fail. We learn so much more from failure than success. So if you can not care, but you know what I mean, not let it affect you. Like if anything,
that's it.
Go for failure.
Yes.
Hunt for how can I fail? Because if you want to get better, quicker, fail more.
Yeah.
Like the amount you fail will shape where you go, and it is. And again, when you've had that mindset of failure is a bad thing, and it's that inner child, it is hard to overcome because it's still uncomfortable. And I still get it now with certain things like failure.
It's our survival thing, isn't it? So it's part of us, in terms of the nature, how our bodies behave as well.
It's uncomfortable, but one thing to deal with, one thing I'm working on is I know it's going to suck and be painful, but how quick can I recover from it?
Yeah.
So I've had it in the past where, you know, you'd fail at something and then you'd kind of like, you sit in it and it affects you until you go again. Whereas I'm like, right, failed, feel bad about it. Yeah. Okay. Learn from it. How quick can I get up? Because the best people just take it on the chin and go again. And depending on the size of the failure and what it is, will depend on where you are.
Sure.
And how long it takes. But again, being self-aware to know that you have failed or to know you're going to fail, it's going to suck.
Yeah.
But how long am I in it before I get up and go again? And it's something I'm getting better at to a point now. But yeah, you've got to...
You can almost treat it as a metric of sorts, you know, like, you know, okay, so what's my, you know, what's the latest? What's my performance? You can even judge your own performance by that sort of thing, right? You know, okay, I failed today, right? You know, I'm going to, you know, probably in 2 days' time, I'm going to go again.
Yeah.
And I'm ready in 2 days, right? So that's a good sort of indicator of, you know, oh, I don't care in terms of like, it didn't affect me, but you have to care from the learning perspective because you need to understand what lesson did you just learn.
Yeah.
So you just don't fail at the exact same thing again and again and again.
There's the definition of insanity.
Yeah, exactly. You keep doing the same thing.
Expecting different results.
Absolutely. So obviously you've taken us, you know, through your journey, how you ended up being an entrepreneur, how you've built your business, and that you're already like 1 year into the whole thing, you know, in your venture, which is absolutely amazing. But what helps you actually do the thing? That would be my big sort of question. And, you know, you can go as you know, as deep as you wish. But I'd be interested, you know, because it could be the little things that help you, like, you know, appointment scheduling, anything as simple as that, all the way to, okay, do you actually need a specific piece of software that, you know, controls your or contains all your contacts and stuff like this, maybe a CRM of sorts. So if you could give us an idea.
Yeah. So I think there is tech that obviously I use. And I think with saying that I'm a year into the journey in a startup, the tech is a year into the journey and a startup. So there are systems and things that I don't use currently that I don't know about that in the future I will be using and I will progress to. Because tech is not my background. Like you can probably guess from the fitness industry and what I've done, I'm all people. Like, yeah, liked biology, can dissect a human, muscles, tendons, ligaments. Not literally, you know what I mean? But can tell you all about that.
Do.
But technology is not one of my strong suits or skill sets. It doesn't interest me in that way to grab my attention.
Sure.
So I use what I need and I'll build and I'll grow. Obviously, my business, phone, laptop, Wi-Fi, like basic level tech. Don't worry, we're going to get deeper than this. It's not just that. But you need your laptop for your deal finding and all the tech and all the building out everything, the kind of process. I need the phone because I need to be able to communicate with people and organize things, and that's kind of my base layer, if you will. But I can do it from anywhere as long as there's Wi-Fi. I can sit in a coffee shop and go home and go downstairs in here if I needed to and do what I needed to do. And then within that, the bits of software that I use are, so CRM system has been massive for me. This has been a recent introduction to my business. I'm talking last couple of months with going full time. And the way I started to scale and what I had going on, I got to a point where I couldn't manage it all the way I was doing. So if I go back to my PureGym days, the joys of working for a corporate company is that they have processes, policies, software in place. And all you have to do is learn their structure and learn how it operates. And then you as the person will grow and thrive. When you start a business, you're responsible for everything. So one of those things is the tech, the process, the policy. So you have to put it in to make it work. So I tried to use methods I'd used over in my PureGym days in my business, and it didn't translate as well. So when I was in PureGym, I was very much, I had a few things that I did, but obviously big on we had a Teams calendar where, you know, calls and events and everything used to get booked in. I had like a paper diary that I used to use for all my visits. So I'd schedule in my visits in the paper diary. I'd make all my notes in there for my kind of follow-up emails and bits and pieces. I had a general A4 pad, which was kind of my just general to-do list, which I used to write things down on. And then we used to use emails and bits. So I had a system in play that worked for me in there. I tried to translate that across to the property business, and it just didn't work because I had loads of things going on in different places. So I kind of got deals going on over here, people going on here, and there was just nowhere. It didn't all link together. And I knew about CRM systems, and I tried.
Sorry, you did or you didn't?
I did know about CRM systems. I'd heard of them before in passing and loosely, so I knew what they were.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to a point where I was like, maybe this is what I need. And I tried one early doors into the journey when I was doing it, but I didn't fully get on with it.
Got it.
So I never because if it doesn't work, it's more of an effort to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, as part of our community, we get mentors. So I booked on a mentor call. I was like, this is kind of where I'm at.
Mm-hmm.
Want to look at a CRM. Any that you'd kind of recommend and network in, chat to people. And one that came up is the one that I use now. It's called Less Annoying CRM.
What
Great
a
name.
brilliant name.
Yeah. So it's an American company.
Uh-huh.
And I think it's really good the way they set up. So you can do a free live demo call.
Okay.
So you jump on, they take you through, they basically ask you what you do, what you want it for, and there's different templates.
Okay.
So within my business, there was a real estate template, which was like probably the best one for you to use. So they did it on real estate and they demoed how it worked. And I was like, okay, cool. And then you get a 30-day free trial.
Okay.
But the good thing about a free trial is you don't have to put any card details in. So a lot of free trials, it's like put your payment details in, and then you forget to cancel it, and then you end up getting hit with a bill and all this, that. You didn't have to do any of that. You just simply signed up for the free trial. And if you liked it, you put your details in later. So did the free trial, messing around with it. And again, this is going back to the customer service and the American style of things. You can, because it's a small family-led company, you can book in calls, you get email support with what you need. So I went away and trialed it for 2 weeks, and it's all customizable. I can create it and make it do what I want.
Is it cloud-based? So you don't actually install it on your machine. The data sits at their end, right? You just connect to it through a website.
It's just a web URL. Web link that way. I'm glad you explained that thing. I wouldn't have known. That's not my remit. But yeah, so you can book calls at any point. And what I did was I'm going to use it for a couple of weeks because no doubt I will get questions from using it. And I did. So I had a sticky note on my laptop and then I was like, can it do this? What about this? How does this work? Blah, 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 blah. And I booked a call in, and a 50-minute call, and just basically went through and answered all my questions. I was like, okay, cool. This is how I do this. This is how I structure this. But yeah, anyway, great bit of software. Still using it now. So on that CRM, I've basically got everything. So if I picture my dashboard in front of me now, on the left-hand side is my to-do list. And I split my to-do list in the 4-part matrix. I don't know what it's actually called. It's got a name, but you've got urgent and important. Not urgent and important. Urgent, not important, and then not urgent, not important.
Is it like an Eisenhower matrix or something like that?
Yeah, it's got a name. I don't know the actual name. I just like the concept of it. So I have 4 to-do lists, and then when I'm setting general tasks, so if I go back to my PureGym days, this would have been my general A4 notebook, but I can qualify them. So I'm like, right, that goes there, that goes there, that. So I know what tasks are where. And obviously urgent and important, which links back to the mantras of do what makes money first, done is the new perfect, feel the fear, etc., etc. So I link that in. So urgent and important is obviously done first. Urgent, not important is done second. Not urgent, important is done third. And then not urgent, not important is just kind of things that generally sit there if I've got any extra time. And things can change brackets as well. Because I might have something that's important but not urgent because it's not due until 3 months' time. Well, when there's 4 weeks left, suddenly that's urgent and important because there's a deadline on it.
Of course.
So I've got my general tasks there. I have pipelines. So I have a lead pipeline, so of my property deals, and that goes through a journey which has been fully customized by me. So from it being a lead to it being a viewing to being due diligence, have I got mentor calls booked in on it? Is it going through a rating process? Do I need to negotiate on it? Is it for sale? Has it been sold? And there's a whole pipeline of where these things are. And then I've also got an investor pipeline as well. So have I got someone that is interested and has booked a call with me?
And just a quick question on that point. So was it already in the software for you, or did you have to like create it in some way,
The section to make it was there, but I had to customize it to myself. So the template, because it's real estate, had like a buyer leads and seller leads, which wasn't really relevant to me. But you can create your own pipeline on there. So I just create it, and then every tab is what I've created. So you get active tabs and closed tabs as well.
Yep.
So obviously when you've got people going through the journey.
Yep.
So on the investor side, I've got call booked in, investors list. Are there any hot investors? Are there any bespoke investors?
Mm-hmm.
Are there any deals that have been sold that are in their 14-day cooling off period? So it's the aftercare kind of bit.
I see.
And then in the closed pipeline, there is past buyers. So they've bought a deal before. There's refunds. If anything's gone and the investor's actually gone, this isn't for me. So they go in the refund pipeline. There is just like a gone cold pipeline. So if someone's been on they've not been bespoke, but they're on the hot, they're keen, but they're not gone bespoke.
Sure.
If they've gone cold, they'll go into the cold pipeline. So that will get closed down. And there's a general, I think I've got like a time wasters one. So if anyone is like on the list and is actively like looking, but then messing you around, you can kind of you can close them down and be like, put them in time wasters. And like, that's not someone I really want to work with.
Yep.
So it's all customized by me. It links to my calendar.
Uh-huh.
So it links to Google Calendar.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't link to iOS Calendar. And I've got iPhones, but the workaround is it links to Google Calendar. Now, Google Calendar also links to iOS Calendar. So
you can just connect the two.
It's my central hub. So pretty much everything goes into Google. If I go on my iOS, it programs into my Google Calendar, which links into my CRM. And if I add an event to my CRM system, it links to the Google Calendar, which then adds to my phone. So I can do it. It's interchangeable. It goes both ways. So events connects to all my contacts. So every contact in my phone book is linked to my Google Contacts, which links to the CRM system. So if I add either side, it adds both ways as well.
Mm-hmm.
All the data, all the notes. You can obviously add the properties on as well. So you create the property within the CRM system, which then obviously goes into the property leads pipeline.
Okay.
You link that property.
On that point, because I've seen a couple of different pieces of software from the property world. So does it pick it up from a link that you would provide to it? So let's say if it's listed somewhere, it would pick it up, or do you have to manually type in everything?
Yeah, so I manually add it in. So the way to do it, because there isn't like anywhere that you just add a property. What you do is you add it as a company.
All right, okay.
So so when I add things, I can add contacts, I can add companies, I can add there's a load of things you can add.
Yep.
You add it as a company. So the name of the company is the property's address.
Got it.
You can then hone in on the address.
Okay.
You can put the background information. So what is the property? What's the size? What's it up for?
So all the key details you've got there in one place.
And then there's a website. So if you've got a link to the property, you link it on there.
I see. Okay.
And then to link it all together, you can create relationships between people and companies.
Oh.
So if I've got an agent as a contact, and that agent has given me a property which is a lead, I can go on to said property, add a relationship, and I can add that agent to that company as agent. So if I click onto either or, I can see what companies or / properties that agent is linked to. And if I click onto the property, I can see all the relevant people. So
I see.
have I got an investor that's interested in that property? What agent has it come through? Is there someone I'm co-sourcing with it on? And I can...
Got it.
So it's like my central hub. So everything goes through the CRM system at the minute. And there are still things I'm learning and building with it.
Yep.
But now I've just got this platform that I simply open it up and I go, right, what's my task list? What's in the pipeline? What investors am I currently working with? What events have I, and I can, it's just all in one location, which is, it's just massive for what I do. And it's been such a breath of fresh air, and it can still get better. And I'm still going to level up there. But that is my main piece of tech. But as you build and scale a business, I might outgrow the software. There might be a more relevant CRM system or piece of software.
And on that point, very quickly, it's very, very prominent in many, many sectors. It's not just typical to you because, you are now a single person doing it. And then eventually, obviously, you're going to have a team. But it's even, applicable to businesses of certain size, right? Maybe there is 10 employees in the office, and maybe you've got somebody on the shop floor if it's a manufacturing business. And many times what you would see is you've outgrown the tech year ago, at least, maybe 2, maybe many years even, and they are just stuck with it because it's too expensive to move away. Transfer all this information, etc. But now we are in that sort of era of there's just like 50 different products doing the same thing, and you can just flexibly choose. And
the thing is with the CRM system as well, they make it very easy to transfer, because
Yeah.
they need it to be easy for you to transfer to them.
Exactly. Yeah.
And in turn, to do that, it has to be easy for you to transfer away from them. So I was messing around with it. What is it? I had I did the other day. Oh, I have a group. So when you do your contacts, you can create groups and add people to different groups.
Sure.
The way to filter. So I have an investors group,
Mm-hmm.
as well as having a pipeline for them. So they go into the investors group, but they also go into the pipeline, because the pipeline's a journey, whereas the group is just a general group.
Yeah.
And I had 46 on the list, and I had 45 in the group.
Okay.
And I was like, one's missing. And I didn't want to go through and read every single name.
Uh-huh.
So I exported both of them just as a CSV file,
Okay.
stuck it into ChatGPT, and was like, right, and I found out, and one of them was actually duplicated in one of the places. They've been added to the pipeline twice, because you can obviously add multiple in there. And I was like, okay, cool. So close that one down, and then it matches up again. So yeah, it's very easy to just export this list, export these contacts, export this group, and you just export everything. And then if I go to another CRM system, you just upload.
I see. The big question from my sort of experience and what I've seen would be, what is like the one thing that you cannot live without? Would you say the CRM in general, for your niche specifically? I'm thinking, so people can just make that connection, like, okay, if I'm starting a property business, I'm gonna have to have this, and that's a no-brainer.
Yeah, I think apart from your core basics of, you need a phone to speak to people.
Of course,
you could probably make your way without it, but it's going to be very difficult.
Sure.
But you need a phone, and obviously you need a laptop to run bits off. But yeah, that would be. There are other things that I have access to as well, but that's the kind of core one that like I said, it's the central hub. Everything goes in and runs through there to track it all, and even when it's gone. So let's say a lead goes through, whether it's sold, whether the deal's gone, whether it didn't even stack in the first place. Like if I'm going to view a property for a certain reason, it gets added onto the list, so it'll be a lead to view in.
Yep.
The numbers don't work, and there's no flexibility to find that win-win with the vendor or the landlord, and then it's not a route.
Yep.
It gets closed, but it's always in that closed pipeline. So
you can always refer to it later. Yeah.
You get a phone call, or I've had it before the CRM existed, with a property, which is actually on my radar again now, funnily enough. Close it down a few times, because there's an opportunity to work with this landlord, and they want to work with me on it. So I've had it before where it got closed down because it wasn't the route, and then they came back, so it reopened again.
Yep.
And then I closed it down. It's actually on the system now, closed, but they've reached out to me and gone, actually, I've re-evaluated what I'm looking for, and I think we can work together. So I've said, yeah, look, I'm happy to come out and chat and catch you again, just to kind of get my bearings, to make sure it's worth my time. What are you actually looking for now? And they are open to a reduction on the figures for whatever reason, and I will go and find out what it is that it's all about solving pain and problems anyway. But so that now I can go, okay, cool, let's run the numbers. I can reopen it, add it back into the pipeline again, and go, landlords reevaluated, these are the figures, this is what they're looking for, how can we help? And then, is there the relevant investor to take on that deal? But all the notes are there, everything's, so you can literally see the kind of history
makes sense
of this deal.
Okay. And there is this view of, okay, you're making notes for yourself, really, but later in whatever stage you're going to be, how true is that for you as well? When you're making notes, are you just, okay, I need to get it done quickly, or do you actually, block off some, let's say, portion of your day to make sure that this is as detailed as possible, just so you have a really, really good reference later on for yourself?
I'm going to go back to done is the new perfect. It's pretty much, it doesn't need to be essays and that, it just needs to be notes,
Got it.
What was obviously all the previous notes are there. So this is kind of what they're after. This is the property. This is this. Adding it on, landlord open to reduction in price to X, Y, Z. Reason why. What's that? Just bullet points. So
you figured out your own way of, if you see this format of a message, you're gonna understand where you were with it before, etc.
It doesn't need to be War and Peace, because I'm quite in tune with what I've been and seen it. I've met the person. I've built the relationship. It's all there to come back to me. It just might be a couple of bullet points to remind me of where were we last time. And I remember most of it anyway. I'm not going to lie, but it's just that bit of you might have 5, 6, 7 bullet points, whatever it is, of a few facts and figures and interesting. Okay, cool. Now it's here, and then, like I said, you just retrace the journey. It might not come off again, and it might go. I think if it goes a third time, there's no way it's going to work potentially. But again, you just don't know.
Sure.
You just don't know where people are at that portion of time, and I can't solve your problem now because it doesn't work for both parties. It's not a win-win, and we're all about the win-win. But you may have a change of circumstances or a change of heart, or something might change, and then suddenly, what is a win for you is actually something we can meet our side. And then there's it depends on the journey of investor or property and which one comes first, because you've got to structure the win for both sides of the coin.
Okay. And as I mentioned to you, we occasionally do like a question from our community members, right? I'm really curious about this one as well. If you didn't get a recommendation for a specific system from somebody you know who's mentoring you or whatever, how would you go about it? So how do you make that distinction of, okay, this is going to be a good fit for me and this isn't? Would you just look at how you specifically, personally operate, or is it just down to your understanding of the general business principles, what has to happen first, etc., etc.? So how educated do you have to be on the business structure level versus what is your preference in how you operate? Where would you sort of go with that one?
I think to answer the question, it's a balance between the two, because we mentioned earlier, all successful people say the same things in their own way, and there's common formulas and bits that come up, and it's like, well, if he's saying that and he's saying that and they're saying that, she's saying that, probably should listen in a sense. So it's about knowing what works for the business. Like CRM systems, I've heard mentioned loads in my world before I went and did it. Like loads of people mentioning CRM. So when you've heard it that many times, you're like, okay, it's probably some weight to this.
So you knew that you need it.
So and when I got to the point of being like, I can't track all of this, I knew the solution to the challenge.
I see.
Was a CRM system. But then I've got, how do I work? What's going to work for me? And like I said, I can work my way around tech, but I'm not a techie person. It doesn't interest me. It's not my thing.
Which to me makes it even twice as important to ask this question, because many people are like that. If you are business oriented, you don't have even the capacity or the time to understand everything on the tech level, because, you have to rely on other people to some extent to help you with that.
So that's when it's a case of, and you said, what would I do if I didn't get a recommendation? I would get a recommendation because I network loads. I'm going to ask the question. I'm going to find the answer to the question that I need. So that's, again, not going to happen. But if I didn't, it would be, again, I'm just quick. I'd probably Google CRM systems for property. Saw what came up. One would take my fancy. And I go, let's try that. That I'm not going to put weeks and weeks and hours of research and that into it, because again, done is the new perfect.
So don't overthink it. That's the message, right?
Just get it, run with it. I've done it before. I had one and it didn't work with me. I didn't gel with it. So then you're like, well, I'm going to move it off. And if this one hadn't have worked, and like I said, I might outgrow it. There may be better suited ones. There are CRM systems specifically designed for property. There are ones out there with that niche. So in the future, one of those may suit me more, but this one works for me now. I know how it operates, and as long as the business is working, I'll run with it until it doesn't work anymore. And it's like, right, where's the next one? Then take on the next one, and I might use the next one and be like, I'd heard about this one before, but I didn't use it. Why did it? You know what I mean? Like, I've got to where I've got to, and I'm here. Cool. Let's take on the next step. Let's use this piece of software now and move forward. I'm not going to dwell on the fact I didn't use that piece of software 12 months ago. This one's got me to where I need to be. And now I've outgrown it, and it's time to move on. Because again, I'm going to go back to PureGym. The amount that PureGym adapted and innovated while I was there over my time was massive. Like, they brought in bits of tech and then new softwares, and they move from this platform to this program, and they outgrew this person, and you have to constantly innovate and grow in business and tech and AI. I'm sure you spoke about a lot of people with AI, but AI is already massive, and it's only growing more arms and legs and heads and all the rest that comes with it. And I do use AI within the business.
That was my next question
as well. So to go on to more software bits and pieces. So the other bits that I use there's a software called Property Market Intel, which is basically all about collating data. And there are so many different tabs and things you can do on this, but it depends on what section you click into, but it will scour the internet and pull data. Now, you can't take it as gospel. You have to do your own due diligence and research, but it gives you a nice baseline of sort of...
So the starting point is there for you.
Yeah, what you're expecting, depending on what you're looking at.
Yep.
But then it's a case of, okay, cool, now I need to dig further. So I've got other places that I go and have to manually complete the research. So you've got that one. There's a new system started to use, actually been given to us as part of the academy. It's a software called Deal Sourcer.
Okay.
Now, there are other platforms out there as well, but it basically uses AI and scrapes the internet to find potential deals.
Yep.
So whether you're looking at rent-to-rent deals, whether you're looking at BRR projects, if it's a simple buy-to-let, if it's a motivated seller, like whatever it is, there's different categories you can go through and select and that. But it will scour the internet and spit out all these opportunities at you. And then you can use AI to analyze it, and it will give you kind of here's what you can expect. Is it a dud? Is it a potential?
Yep.
But you still have to, again, go out and speak to the agent or the landlords, build the relationship, find out what they want, you can't get rid of the people element,
of course,
fully. It's not going to happen.
It sounds to me like you're at least cutting down that time, let's say, wasted on the initial research to the very minimum.
Yeah, and
that's a great thing.
This is literally brand new. So this has only just come in. I've only just started using the software. So even by the time this podcast comes out, my experience with it will have gone up, and I'll have learned more about it and how that system works of finding deals.
I see.
But yeah, leveraging AI where you can is massive. And then also I use ChatGPT a lot, and I know there's other bits and pieces out there. And again, you hear different bits from other people on which ones are good, and there's things that I know that way. But
do you ever talk to it?
All the time.
Yeah.
All the time. Yeah. I'll speak to it more than anyone, to be honest with you, because I think I said to you earlier, like when I'm doing bits of content, what I will do is I'll have a video idea of what I'm going to do, and I've got a content list of what I'm planning to put out there, and I will literally start the voice note on ChatGPT and go, right, I'm just going to talk at you, and I use it more so to put my memory down of what I've said, rather than, I'm not structuring everything from ChatGPT. It needs to be authentic. It needs to be me. But I'll literally go, right, content idea, here's the video I'm going to do, and I'll just go blah blah, and I'll just dump all my words on it, and he'll come back and go, oh yeah, let's tighten this up and make a script. And I'm like, no, shut up, you knob. All I literally need is, right, that's my idea. Okay, cool. Let's have a comment. Let's pre-frame it, and then just kind of give me some bullet points to almost like we've done here with the conversation of steer me in the direction. So, you know, right, what's my hook going to be for this video? Okay, intro, X, Y, Z. Is it like how long's the piece of content? You know what I mean? You just kind of verbalize it, and then all I need is a few bullet points, because my authenticity and creativity comes from me, and we had this chat.
Last time I literally used that function maybe a couple of days ago. I was doing an inventory for my rental property, and I was literally just walking around, just saying things to it, like, you know, okay, room so-and-so, there is item so-and-so, you know, let's say the range of value, the current value would be so-and-so. And it, you know, noted all this without me, you know, typing everything in. And then, you know, when I got home, I just, you know, exported everything as a table, nice and clean, copy paste into a spreadsheet, off to the tenant to, you know, to get it signed off, done.
I do it when I'm stacking deals as well. So I stack all my deals myself and do all my own figures and my numbers. But I use it as that kind of memory aspect. So I'll fire it up, voice note, and go, right, and I'll give it the address of the property that I'm looking at, size, kind of few background info. And then when I'm tracking data, if I'm looking at, maybe EPC registers and sizes of things, when I'm looking at comparable units, when I'm looking at market data, and I'll just keep kind of adding to this and like take it on a bit of a journey of the numbers, and it will just come back to me, be like, yeah, you said this, and sometimes it comes up with a bit of cack, and you're like, no, that's wrong, or sometimes it's like, oh, that's actually a bit decent advice, and I just start to paint this picture on the deal, but then I can track it all. So this property, for example, that's come back on the radar, I'm not going to remember all the figures. I've got everything noted down. I've got my calculator side. I'll have the original pack that I put together and everything. And like when it was kind of in the process, we couldn't make it work. But I will also have a history on ChatGPT of when I've done those numbers, so I can go back to it and be like, either scroll through and find it on the millions of scrolls, or I'll see if it because it starts to remember previous chat history.
Yes,
now I don't know how far back it goes, and I can be like, I'll just say, address of this property. Do you remember? Have you got this conversation from our history? Can you pull it through? If it says no, I'll have a little scroll and I'll find it. But then I'll go, when I find that chat, I'll be like, right, coming back to this one. It's come back on the surface. Just give me a quick summary of everything we looked at. And it'll obviously go back. I'll have all my information there. And then it's a quick reminder. Plus, I've got my notes on the CRM system. So everything suddenly comes back up into the forefront of my mind. But then I will, because it's come back, I'll go and run the due diligence again. So I'll go, okay, I got to this number before. How did I get there? And I know I'll have bits and pieces saved anyway, just on software, and I go, right, that was a comparable, that was one. I'll have a relook at it, at the market data, go back into property market intel, just to be like, right, is this still the case? Has it changed? How accurate was my, because the more you do, the better you get. How accurate was I? And I'll go back and I'll just paint this picture again with the new information taken into account. And then I will see, does it work or does it not?
Before we finish, because I think we're getting really close to just finalizing our conversation, it might be valuable to you as well as the guys listening. There is something called Notebook LM. I'm not sure whether you've heard about that one. No. It's also an AI solution, right? But the difference is that it only generates information based on what you give it.
And in one sense, I do kind of wish I was more techie in a sense, to be able to understand it, build it, run with it, because you can get ahead on an AI. It's just going to be so powerful, but I'm understanding now you can't do everything, so bring the people in that know about it and leverage their knowledge, and then it's your network is your net worth, and who you collaborate with is 100%. Massive.
And that's what I see with my clients when I do those little tech audits. This is exactly what we're trying to do. So if we walk in, right, we just look at, okay, how do you even operate right now? Because, if we don't know how specifically you do certain things, how can I even recommend anything? You know, as soon as you explained, this is how I use ChatGPT, I was able to connect the dots and tell you, okay, but, have a think about this one, because it might just save you some time and be a little more reliable in terms of what it spits out, as a result. So, there's those little things that you can make as tweaks, and it will save you a ton of cash later on, because you don't have to spend as much effort and your own time and basically energy to move away to something else once you've already built that massive database of things. So, the longer you use something, the harder it becomes to move away from it, because you're reliant on that. So there is a clear trend around that.
That's wicked.
All right then. Thank you so much. It's been great to have a conversation with you. I absolutely love how we are aligned on certain subjects business wise. I've got no doubt that you're going to be very successful in your journey, because you radiate success. So thanks very much, Sam.
I appreciate that. Thank you for having me, and it's been an absolute pleasure to come on.
Fantastic. Thank you.